Welcome back to Daylight Boomin. Yeah, just like
exactly.
That. All right, so are you excited?
I feel like I spent my good intro.
The bang, 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 bang.
That's right.
That's pretty. I mean, hey, we're excited to have you. This is your first episode on the podcast. Your first time.
I'm excited.
And you've been on Late Night Boomin' quite a few times. Yes, you've done some wild stuff for us.
I know.
And today, maybe not super crazy, but you're still going to do a little something later in the podcast, a little bit later.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I have to. That's
to.
like my bread and butter. If I don't, I'm just a normal guy.
And then, unfortunately, it doesn't make you interesting anymore.
I know.
But that's I mean, me and Jack and me and Min, we all have our things. Yeah, we all have our things. Okay. I should probably introduce, we have an interesting guest before we roll the intro. Hermit the Chimp is joining us. Hey, Hermit.
What's up?
There we go. Okay, thank you. Okay. Thanks. Let's go. That's Hermit the Chimp.
Hermit was just on the way in, so just made it to the mic in time.
Just in time. Just in time. This morning is going to be a really interesting one. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. We should probably roll the intro so we can just jump into it. Let's just do it.
3, 2, 1.
Welcome back to Daylight Boomin'. Ladies and gentlemen, today's going to be a super fun episode. I'm sure you just heard. You're here. Welcome. Travis Nye is joining us.
That's right,
wonderful.
I'm here. I'm so excited.
The magician.
It's going to be the most magical interview ever.
It's going to be magical, especially because we have a real-life, living, talking chimp with us.
Oh, yeah, that's pretty magical.
That's super magical. Speaking of which, how did you gain sentience?
Oh, I do not know. Honestly, I think it was a curse by God.
Oh.
Wow. I really feel upstaged, but I'm also honored at the same time.
You know, well, you're going to surprise him. Even though he may be magic, I think you have a little bit more magic in your soul because you can translate magic.
Yeah, and you have
to the
soul.
audience.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You give us that wonderful feeling of awe.
Okay.
And
I'm on board with
Hermit
this.
really just gives us a feeling of unease.
Oh, yeah.
It's spelled the same, just sounds different.
So I figured we'll talk a little bit about, well, how did you start as a magician? I am going to say, I relate to you a little bit because when I don't know if I've told you this before, when I was a kid, I was super into magic. Wow. And I got the Chris Angel magic set, the magic kit, and I was doing all kinds of magic stuff.
That's why you're not in it anymore. You started in the wrong place.
I did start in the wrong place. But I loved magic as a kid, and if I hadn't have probably gone in the direction of film, which is, a lot of people argue, magic and film are very similar.
Absolutely.
I would have stayed in magic because magic illusionism is so cool.
It really is. I enjoy it. I don't know. So you asked how I got started, when I got started in
Basically,
magic.
Yeah. The whole rundown.
Yeah. So, I mean, very similar. I was just that typical nerdy kid, got a magic kit or something at some point in my life, and kind of was oh, this is cool. Handpicked a couple tricks out of a magic kit that says comes with 160 tricks, and
and you master those 3, and you get really good at them.
Because the other 140 are the same card trick or paper trick, just redone in different ways. So I picked a couple things. I kind of liked it. I enjoyed it, but I was pretty young, and I didn't really appreciate it. It was more like a puzzle or a toy to me, so to speak. So eventually got a little bit older. There was a TV show called World's Greatest Magic. It aired, it was a 2-night special, aired every Halloween weekend. And it was kind of a spin-off of the Houdini seance. Basically, when Houdini had passed away, people had made this network hosted by William Shatner on how to they were trying to reconnect with Houdini because that was his purpose in life later on, was trying to find out if psychics and mediums were real.
Oh, wow.
And so eventually they just canceled the thing because, after 10 years, nothing has happened.
Yeah.
So let's do a magic show instead. So that's the route that it went. And it was a showcase of all these magicians. Everybody get 5, 8, 10 minute sets, whatever. And it was a 2-night special, and I loved it. To where I was recording every one of them on VHS, and I'd go back, play them over and over, and watch them. And I'm I'm gonna learn that, and I never did until I was grounded, and my TV and video games, all that stuff was taken away. I'm what am I gonna do? I'm going to learn magic. And so I just started like playing those tapes back in my mind and trying to like create methods of what they did, trying to figure it out. And eventually I got a couple good tricks like figured out that I kind of created on my own. But really they were already there. I just kind of figured them out on my own.
Right. Sleuthing
Yeah,
away
right?
to try and
Like,
figure out how they were done.
Yeah, I pounded the pavement to learn these things.
That's so cool.
Yeah. And then actually my first real trick I learned, and I'll never forget this, there's a foreign exchange student that came to my school, and he's from Russia.
Sure.
And he's like, I heard you're learning magic. I was like, yeah. And so I showed him a trick. He's like, can I show you one? And it blew my mind. I was like, holy smokes, dude.
Some foreign exchange student just came in and blew you out of the water.
Yeah, I'm like, who is this guy? Like, and I begged and begged, and finally the last day before he went back home to Russia as a foreign exchange student here, he taught me how to do the trick, and so I kept my promise. I practiced and practiced and practiced, and finally I was ready to show somebody. Kept the secret, and again I experienced that same moment of magic when he performed it for me, but I was performing it for somebody else because I was so excited after all those like months and years and whatever trying to learn a magic trick. Like this is what it was all about for me.
And when you finally got it, that payoff. Yeah.
And so every time I perform, even now, like even though I'm the one performing and I know how the tricks are done, it's still like experiencing the trick for the first time when I see other people get excited about it.
Right. And that's why we love film, because it's actually kind of similar. It's like when you make a film, you're putting so much effort into it. You don't really see the actual progress until you've shown it to somebody, and then you see that sense of awe in them, and they're like,
like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love
and you
that.
can never show people, like, because I do a little bit of editing and stuff, I mean, we all do now because we're social media generation,
sure.
right? And so it's crazy because, like, you'll never be able to show people, like, the forethought that goes into making the films, like the editing, like the planning of every shot, like the timing of it, the cuts.
And people don't know the sleight of hand and the different pockets in your sleeves.
Yeah,
That's all skills right there.
Yeah, it's so sad because like all they see is like the end result, and they never see all the stuff that goes into it.
All
and
the
for
hard
me,
work.
that is like the coolest thing, like the science behind it, like the thinking behind it, the process. Like I love it so much.
That's so cool. So when did you do your first like official like magic show in front of people?
So my first actual paying gig, my uncle owned a restaurant. And so I'd always perform for the family and stuff. And like, it was like weeks and weeks. He'd always tease the idea, like, you should come and perform, do some stuff at the restaurant. So I did. And it was awful for the longest time because like I had never performed in front of an audience. Like, hey, you want to see a trick? And most were like, no. And I was like, stage right, cool.
At its finest.
Yeah, and so like I had to learn like how to approach people, and that was like probably the biggest thing. But I'll never forget. So that was like where I started out performing table magic, and I'll never forget like one of the funniest stories I've ever had performing is I walked up to this older guy sitting at like the bar area. I was like, hey, do you want to see a magic trick? And keep in mind, I was like 13. No, that's a lie. I threw that number out. I was like 16 because I drove there.
Oh, okay.
I drove there. I was like 16.
But a young adult. A young adult.
And he's like, oh, I don't want to see him. I'm like, why not? I'm like, they're really cool. And he's like, no. He's like, I know another guy that did magic tricks. His name was, and I forget, I'm just throwing out random names. Like, his name was Harry. Do you know Harry? I'm like, I don't know Harry. He's like, yeah, Harry performed like 40 years ago. I was like, why would I know Harry? I'm 16. That's 40 years ago we're talking about. And he's like, nobody performs like Harry. I'm like, well, okay, that's cool. I'm not going to bother you. And then there's like this weird like sympathetic moment where the people sitting next to him like, you can show me something, kid. Come on over. And I'm like, this is so awkward now. I'm like, it's cool. I can go to the next table. Like, it's fine.
Oh my gosh, that's great.
But it actually launched quite a bit though, because then eventually people were like, oh, do you do parties? And I'm like, sure. No.
Oh, okay.
Not yet, but I can now.
I can. And then that's kind of where it started. I started doing like birthday parties and stuff like that.
That's pretty
really
sick.
cool.
Yeah.
That's pretty sick.
So what are your favorite magicians that you look up to?
My
right
favorite
now?
magicians. So for me personally, Lance Burton was always my favorite.
I've never heard of Lance Burton. Is that a deep cut, or am I just?
He's not like a normal like mainstream magician like a David Copperfield or something,
Sure.
but he was like the worker magician. He was like the guy out there like doing the work, but he was very, very famous. So he actually did, and this is a really cool story too. So he constantly performed and stuff, and he was one of the first people I saw on the World's Greatest Magic series that I was talking about before that came out, and everybody, you know, talked to the camera, did the audience interaction, stuff like that, the banter and stuff, which is fun and great and it's needed. But he came out quiet, music came on, low lit. It was more of like a theatrical performance, and not a single word was spoken, but it was like probably one of the most impactful performances to this day for me seeing, because I was like, this is magic. It's not the comedy, it's not the jokes. This is just pure sleight of hand illusion, like the art behind it.
Yeah.
And that resonated with me so much that, I mean, from this day forward, like I credit me performing still to watching that performance. So I had looked up to Lance forever, and he actually did his career in reverse, where he never did the shows, like the birthday parties, the corporate events. He actually got his break auditioning for Johnny Carson.
Oh.
And his first performance, like, ever really was on the Johnny Carson
The Daily
show.
Right.
And so the cool thing was with that is he said that he went in there to audition. He had a 17-minute set. And Johnny Carson was a magician himself. He practiced all the time and performed and stuff.
I didn't know that about
Now
Johnny
you know,
Carson.
now you know, right?
Johnny Carson.
Yeah. And so he was doing this whole act, the same one he did on World's Greatest Magic, and the producers are like, you got 3 minutes. He's like, I have a 17-minute act. And he's like, do the whole thing, we'll pick out 3 minutes. And it's one of those acts, like, you can't just start in the middle.
Yeah.
And so Johnny Carson was watching from the wings, you know, after the curtains, and he came out and he said, let the kid do the whole 17 minutes. And that was the first time ever Johnny Carson gave up that much network time for a guest.
Not to mention a rando.
Yeah.
To him.
And so from that day, like a month or so later, he actually got a contract to perform at the MGM.
Wow.
Yeah, it was like a smaller casino before that, and then went into the MGM for a 7-year contract, which turned into 13 years. And he actually held higher record ticket sales than David Copperfield and stuff like that for that time.
Whoa.
Holy crap. That's crazy.
So the cool thing is, as you know, I had my magic shop, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So during COVID, I reached out to a few friends and stuff that were bigger names in magic that nobody else really knew unless you're in the magic community. They were on America's Got Talent, stuff like that.
Oh, sure.
And I was like, hey, I'm going to do a podcast. Like, nobody's really performing right now. It's, you know, pandemic. And they're like, yeah, we'll do one. Yeah, we'll do one. So I was like, hey, do you have any other friends I can do? Whatever. I worked my way up. And so finally I'm like, I'm going to try to do Lance. Like, this was like my idol, like my person. And so finally I like messaged him, and like within an hour I got a reply. He's like, yeah, let's do it. I'll give you an hour. And I'm like, oh my gosh,
dude,
we're
that's
doing Lance
sick.
Britton. So I got to like interview my childhood hero, right?
That's awesome.
It was so cool. And then shortly after that, we were talking about a show that he was going to be doing in North Dakota. He was going to go back on the road after not performing for like 15, 20 years, something like that.
Wow.
So I was so excited. I'm like, I want to go. And he's like, yeah, absolutely. We'll comp you tickets, stuff like that. And then it didn't happen because, of course, like the pandemic kind of came back up again, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, no. But then it was really cool because he like reached out to me like 8 months later. He's like, hey, we're going back on the road. Do you want to do another interview? And I'm like, oh, yes, I do. Like, this is amazing. So like now we're like, I mean, we're not like friends, but like I can hit him up and he like
Friendly
replies. And I'm like,
acquaintances,
oh, this is cool to have this dude in my pocket.
That's
like we actually talk
crazy.
now. So it's like one of those rare things like where you actually get to like meet your childhood heroes. And it's one of those things like he's still a hero to me. It's not like don't meet your heroes. Like this dude's still super generous and super cool. So
You get lucky. Sometimes those guys are still good guys.
yeah, and so that was a really
you
cool
know,
experience. So
I met my hero once, Curious George.
Oh,
yeah, absolutely.
Just
Love
as
Curious
immature in
George,
person,
man.
honestly.
oh, really?
Yeah.
I was gonna turn Min's question and ask who your
Yeah, I knew you were gonna ask.
Harambe,
totally.
my guess.
Harambe.
Oh, that's a touchy subject.
Oh, I'm sorry.
yeah.
I shouldn't have.
Yeah.
I'm
I was
sorry.
there.
You
when
were
it happened.
there in the pit.
Not in the pit.
Wow. Just in the next
Like next stage over.
You don't. You can't say
I
cage.
was.
It's
I
apartment.
was.
Apartment.
I was reading books to kids at the library.
Oh,
Oh, in
I
like the
heard it.
visitor center area.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, and I heard it, and I ran over. I was like, Harambe, no!
poor guy.
That had to have been a tough time.
Poor
Oh, it was
Harambe.
traumatizing.
I'm glad you're able to share that with us. That you were able to
Yeah.
Yep.
get through.
Yeah.
Trauma dumping on a podcast with my friends.
Yeah. That's what.
It's important. We're friends, though. We're friends. We're here.
We
We're
are
going to
friends.
support
Yeah,
you.
we
on it.
are.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, I suppose I've got another question for you.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you would like to do on Late Night Boomin' yet? Like, do you have any ideas? Obviously, I don't expect you to tell us exact.
Yeah, no.
But like, do you have some like? I mean, you've done some pretty big, crazy things now on the show. Honestly, the walking across broken glass was
that was super
insane.
cool, right?
That was crazy.
Yeah, I love that so much.
Hermit, have you ever been in any life-threatening situation?
Oh, plenty. I served in the war.
Oh,
Which one?
The war.
Oh yeah, that one was a rough one.
Yeah, that one.
the war.
Yeah, I think
The
I was like
war.
11 or 12.
Yeah,
That was a long time.
Yeah.
It was hard for me to remember, but
yeah.
Oh, it's hard for me to remember too. It's painful.
I believe it.
I believe it. So, sorry, I just had it just popped into my brain. Yeah. So, do you have like any like crazy things that you maybe have ideas for? Are you gonna bring something
Like
interesting to
David
season
Blaine
3?
style.
Yeah, see, it's crazy because like every time I get a call like, hey, do you want to be on the show? Do you want to do this? Do you want to come and perform? Whatever. Like just like this, it's like, yeah, I do, absolutely, let's do it. But then I'm always like, what do I want to do? And I'm like always back and forth until like almost 10 minutes before, and I'm like, we're doing this. Now, when we do a recording like that, of course, it has to be planned a little bit.
Right.
And so I thoroughly enjoyed like the walking on the glass stuff. Like it's not really a magic trick; it's just more like just a crazy stunt.
It's an endurance test,
Yeah.
really. Yeah,
But I
it is
like
crazy.
that stuff so much. Like it's kind of like when you mix that in with the idea of magic. Like even saying I'm a magician and I do something that shouldn't be done, like walking on glass, it still has that hint of like, does he have something on his feet?
Right.
Is this real glass?
Right.
Like, is there somebody crazy enough to actually do this?
Yeah, it's insane.
So I like creating that like weird blur of like, is it real?
I am just waiting for the day in season 10 of Late Night Boomin' where you do this insane escape trick, like hanging upside down. You're like tied at the ankles. You've got a straight jacket. No, I'm kidding. That
a
would
water
be
tank.
insane, though.
In the water tank,
In the
of
water
course.
tank,
Yeah.
that would be crazy.
Yeah. So I actually had an idea. So I went on this crazy like tangent of learning how to pick locks with
Oh.
the idea of doing an escape.
Really?
So I have my lock pick set. I do all that stuff. I play with locks and stuff all the time. I haven't recently, but not too long ago I was. And I had the idea of like it's called a milk can, but it's really just a big metal can that's maybe like 3 feet tall. You get inside, handcuffed, shackled, whatever, and then they fill it with water. And
Yeah.
then you have
Oh my
to escape.
gosh.
So I came up with a really, really cool way of doing it. And I was trying to find people to make this thing for me because it has to be like watertight, so there's
Right.
no leaking and things like that. And everybody's
Right.
like, well, what is it? We need to know so we can figure this out, figure out the purpose, make sure it works right. And once they learned the purpose, nobody wanted to make it. They didn't want the liability.
Right. that
I've-
sucks.
Yeah.
Even if you're like, listen, I'll sign a form.
Right. And I
Yeah.
just wanted to be like, can I tell them it's something else? Because every one of them that you see done, like the magician goes into this canister, is handcuffed. The water gets flooded into the container, and then it gets covered with a cloth or a box or a curtain, and then they escape.
Right.
So the way that I came up to do it, like you could do it completely suspended, like on the street with no curtain, no coverage, anything like that, and get out of it.
Yeah.
And still be relatively safe, assuming it all works and the manufacturer did it correct, but I'm not going to hold them any liable than they should be. So figure if they're not going to make it, I can at least call it out. But yeah, so I'm like, this would be really cool to see that escape without the crazy curtain to where you don't see anything at all.
That would be
So
crazy.
people can see the process, because my method was almost legit doing it with a safety factor of being able to have oxygen while I'm doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's. I get claustrophobic even just thinking about that. Even just thinking about that.
Yeah.
The fact that you're in there and it's filled up with water.
Yeah.
That sounds like torture.
100%.
That sounds like real torture.
One of my
real
least.
dangerous.
My wife does not understand it because my least favorite thing is having water on my face.
That's
And you're like,
let's do it.
and you were like trying to find people to like.
I'm
do
sure
this
that
for
like
you.
once I
Like,
get in
make
there,
this-
there's probably other concerns than water on my face. So I'm hoping that's gonna trump one or the other. So
Oh my gosh, that's crazy. Well, okay. We're about 19 minutes in. We're doing pretty good on time. Hermit, have you ever seen a single magic trick that like really blew your mind away?
Have I seen
Yeah.
like my eyes work? No, I was blinded in the war.
Oh, I forgot about the war.
No, that's why I don't blink.
Oh,
you
right.
know?
Because
You're all
it's
magic.
just
Oh yeah, I'm all magic.
nothing behind those
I
eyes.
perceive with my heart.
That's
Oh,
nice.
oh.
It is nice.
I think it would be hilarious if we were doing like if Travis here was doing a trick and then you were like, "Hey Hermit, reach up your."
What? You gonna pull a rabbit out of there?
There's a card down there and it's signed. It's got your name. Whoa!
What?
Maybe we could do a thing where like the tiger vanishes or something, but it could just be Hermit.
All right.
Everybody is gonna know though. It's pretty. I mean, we'll I'll cut that out. Actually, never mind. No, let's.
I did it.
Oh! Okay, so have you ever made anything float?
Have I made anything float? So I do this really fun routine, which I'm always so scared to do it because it's expensive.
Oh.
Where it's just like a table that I bring on stage, and I mainly do it for kids because they enjoy it the most, and like
Sure.
the parents and the adults watching the kids react is great. But I can still do it on late night, where. Basically, we bring a table up. We do like the whole Wingardium Leviosa, and the Harry Potter music plays and all that stuff, and the audience gets in on it, and the table lifts up and floats and moves around a stage and all that other good stuff. And
That would be so cool.
it's super fun. Yeah,
That's sick. I mean, like the most I can do. I don't know if you saw those tricks before where people like they like turn around and they like go up on their foot and they like make it look like they're floating. I used to do that all the time.
Do you know in the David Blaine specials, like where he levitates off the ground? That's what he does.
That's what he was doing the whole time?
100% what he does.
Really?
Now you're gonna go back and watch and be like, I want to see it, and you're gonna see both feet come off the ground. I think it's publicized enough. I can give this away. So, and it was like 20 years ago, if not
Insider
more.
scoop.
Insider scoop. Yeah, this is how it works. Okay, so. He's basically doing that standing on 1 foot levitation. If you want to look it up and learn it, it's really cool. It's called the Balducci levitation.
Oh.
I know there's a
Do you
real
know how to
name
spell
for
that?
it. Yeah, I do. It's BALDUCCI.
I knew there was going to be two C's in there. It kind of sounded like
yeah,
it.
Right?
Okay.
So he basically does the standing on 1 foot thing to where the one where it genuinely does look like you're floating if you do it from the right
from like
angle.
the right angle, yeah.
Yeah, it's very specific on the angle, but that's what the audience is reacting to. Then they do a little bit of camera trickery without an audience and some apparatuses that actually lifts them up. So what the audience is reacting to is not what you're seeing.
Okay.
That's great. Oh, wow.
Film editing.
Yep.
Trick
there
of
you
film
go.
editing.
See, magic and film coming
Okay.
together.
I need to know. So I saw this video at an airport that a guy was actually sitting in a chair, but the chair's not there.
I need more. I need.
That's
more.
all-
It looks like he's sitting. Oh yeah, I've seen this video.
He
It looks like he's sitting.
on a chair.
Oh,
but
oh.
it just
I got
the
you.
chair's
Yeah.
not there.
So this is one I used to have. I wish I still had it, but it was very poorly made and it wasn't going to last. And again, it's the same thing. So here, let me break this down for you. So we're going to get into a little bit of like how magic works.
Okay. Insider scoop.
All the kids turn the podcast off for the kids at home.
right.
This is like finding out Santa isn't
That's
real.
right. And cut. We'll come back.
Okay.
Okay. So this is how it basically works. Whatever you think, when you see a magic trick, if you take the start of the magic trick and the end of the magic trick, and that's all you see, you're going to be able to figure it out. You're going to say that's dumb. If you see somebody put a rabbit in a box here, and then they open this box and the rabbit's there. Solution, there's 2 rabbits.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
That's the secret to every magic trick. Look at the beginning, look at the end. Whatever your common sense says, that's the answer. Magician's biggest trick is not doing one rabbit in a box to appear somewhere else. It's to make you think something else could be going on.
Oh, okay.
So misdirection is not just like the sleight of hand stuff. It's all psychological, 100%. So when we do all these things like, here, pick a card, whatever card you want, okay, look at it, don't let me see it, put it back anywhere in the deck. These are all verbal cues, but you don't ever really get that option. You're never really picking any card you want, and you're never really putting it back anywhere
The
you want.
illusion of free choice.
You got me.
The illusion of free will.
Yeah, so it's all stuff like that to where, like, here, I'll say, all I want you to pick a number between like 1 and 5. Okay. And we're not actually doing a trick, so don't put any thought into this. And this is just a condensed version. So I say, cool. All right, you got your number. Now you could have thought of any of those numbers. You could have thought of any number you wanted, right? Cool. I'm leaving out the idea that you could have only chose 1 to 5 when I say that.
Right.
So when I prolong this like effect long enough, you're gonna go back and tell your friends like, I could have thought of any number, and you're gonna leave out the 1 through 5.
Right.
So once you see the whole routine and you sit back, you're like, that was amazing. I don't know how he did it. I don't know. Yeah, he could have picked any number. Like, yeah. And then you're never going to figure it out.
Because you were just in it.
Yeah, it's all verbal cues the whole way. So we get you lost in so much muddled stuff that doesn't need to be there, so you don't see the A to B.
So that's, wow.
So what number I'm thinking of right now?
Between what? I'm just kidding.
That's it.
Could you imagine he actually does it?
Right?
43!
Yeah. You're supposed to just go along with it.
Just say, I'm thinking my number right now. I don't care what the rules are.
What the rules are? 37.
No.
Oh, dang it.
It is.
Take away his illusionist card. Take away his magician card. He doesn't deserve it anymore.
So I don't mind when people come up and say, hey, show me a trick, right?
Yeah.
But there's sometimes like, I'm like, dude, I don't have anything. Like, this is not the time to ask, right?
Oh, yeah, I'll show you a trick.
That's amazing. It was actually done really well.
That was actually really good.
Yeah,
that
so
was pretty
take
good.
pride in that. Some people come up to me and they're like, show me a magic trick. And it'll be like in the weirdest times. Like, no, we've got to pay attention to whatever's happening right now, like a conference or something, you know? And I'll be like, they're like, show me a magic trick. I'm like, cool. Think of any number. Got it. What's your number? And they'll be like, 42. I'm like, wrong. And I'm like, yep, you got it. That's amazing. And they're just like, wait, was that a trick? I don't get it. And I'm like, yeah, it's not the time.
Yeah. I think we should do a little magic trick then. Maybe we'll try to we'll try to forget what you just told us. And see if we can still be.
Well, let's go back and answer his question about the guy sitting in the chair that's not there.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Because we didn't get back to that. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. So one. If it looks like he's sitting, I'm assuming
he's sitting on something.
Yes, absolutely has to. I'm assuming he probably had one leg crossed because that's usually the typical format. You may or may not remember that. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if he has to be sitting on something and there's nothing around him, there has to be something connected to the floor.
That's true because his foot's planted.
Yep. So the only thing that could support him connected to the floor has to be under his foot. Muscle strength alone won't allow you to hold yourself up.
So he's got to have some sort of like plate or something.
He has
there, right?
something to sit on.
Yes,
least.
and
like
just
a plate with like a thing that goes up in his pants.
100% on point.
Whoa. We figured it out!
Magic trick!
So anytime they do it, they're going to have this massive like rug or something under them.
Yeah.
Oh.
And it hides...
Oh my gosh! Yes, I never thought of that because I would always be like, "How could you put enough weight actually right there to like actually?"
So this plate is like 2 feet wide by like 6 foot long because it has to support all their like leverage going back. So they basically have a big L that comes up like this with a plate they're sitting on, and then this just goes up their pant leg. Now, you're going to think, how do they get in that position? It all comes apart so they can just easily get into it. Some of them will have like a false pant leg on top of their pant leg.
Oh. Or maybe even hinges so they can like stand up temporarily and then sit back down or something.
Yep.
That's crazy.
So that's it. Literally, people forget about like the common sense side of how things work.
Okay.
Wow.
And they're just like, he's floating, and then that's all they think about.
That's cool.
That's true.
That's why I love the magic to begin with, because it's just the thought of the end product
physics,
is so
basically,
cool.
too, from that trick, too.
There's so much science that goes behind it, and everybody says that I need to be like Travis Nye, the magic guy, and I think you even said this at one time.
Well, I only said that because Jack said it. I picked it up from him.
Fair. That's fair. Be your own person, okay?
I'm sorry. I'm trying. So, Hermit, are you ready for us to do a little magic?
Yeah, sure. Can I do my own little magic trick?
Oh, sure. Yeah.
I mean,
you go first.
he already disappeared.
I
well,
can
I
actually
did
levitate.
Yeah,
too.
you did do
want
that.
to see me levitate?
Of course.
Oh!
Wow. I didn't expect
that was more of like a triple backflip.
Gainer.
Wow.
Yeah, that was like a
Gainer with a corkscrew.
that was more of like a gymnastics trick than a magic
I
trick.
give it a
Yeah.
9.
I'm rusty.
8.
8 and a
10.
10.
10. Good job. Good job.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic.
All right, should we do a little bit before we call it? A little bit before the end?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
So one thing I do want to show you, though, and this is a really cool thing. This kind of goes into the psychology thing, and I thought you'd appreciate this being a filmmaker as well. Okay,
Sure,
let's
sure.
talk about FPS.
Oh, yeah,
Frames
sure.
per second.
Sure.
Frames per second.
Frames per
All
second,
right.
absolutely.
We're going to dumb this down as much as we can, and we're just going to say our frame rate is 60 frames per minute.
Okay.
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 Which means 1 frame
Per second.
per second.
Right.
Okay. Now let's even bring this down further and say 30 frames per second.
Okay.
So that means every other second it's taking a picture.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So I want you to think of the way that your mind works at 30 frames per second. You're only seeing half of what is happening.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. And since we're a little ways away, you guys can do this to each other, but it's crazy. Like, did it feel like 30 frames? No.
Actually, kind of, yeah. A little bit of that soap opera.
So here's the cool thing. If you were to look at somebody and say, I want you to just hold your head straight and move your eyes from left to right really, really slow. Now, if you watch him do it, his eyes are going to jump.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
Okay?
right.
But give him something to focus on. Now track your finger,
Oh no.
and it's smooth now. It doesn't jump anymore.
Right.
So this is like one of those things how we can actually use this, and when, a lot of times in Magic we use people's basic like motor skills, common sense, attention drawn, and that's the misdirection. So a lot of the things that we use against people are their own senses.
Their own perception.
Yes.
Wow.
And so by
That's
doing
scary.
that, that's where people say like, "Oh, your hands are really fast." I'm like, "No, they're not. You're just missing half of what's going on." Okay? Because yeah. So when I'm doing something with my hands and you look up at me because that's the natural thing to do, that's that little moment where you're missing things. And so
Right.
that same exact mindset with card tricks, anything, you're always going to miss that one little part.
Okay, I'm starting to get
So,
it.
like,
I'm
that's, like,
starting to
every
wrap
trick,
around.
then.
That was a great explanation. Good
Yes.
job. That was great.
Thank
I
you.
loved that. That was
Yeah.
that,
Every single
that
time
really,
at the late night show, I would have to heavily judge what you do.
By the
I know, so
way,
you guys are going to go back and play it in like that 60 frames per second.
I'm gonna like look at
Not
you
even-
as
yeah,
like,
I'm gonna say just right now, it's a shame that Jack hasn't had you as a guest to interview you on.
I
might not
thoroughly
go
enjoy talking about this stuff. The performing side, I love it.
Yeah.
But yeah, this stuff, so great.
So cool. I'll convince him to have you on.
Let's do it.
Do a little
I'm excited.
interview. I'll
yeah.
convince him.
I mean, I feel like I put in the work to earn the stripes to get up there, right?
Yeah,
Like,
definitely. Definitely.
Yeah. So I absolutely love card tricks. It's where I started. It's super simple. Everybody is familiar with cards, typically the suits and things like that. Now, you can choose to shuffle these up if you'd like.
Sure. I'll do a little bit of shuffling.
Perfect.
you're telling us what to do. Don't do it.
no, he's telling me what to do. Oh no, the illusion of choice is gone. Okay. Yeah, I feel good about that.
You feel good? I don't want to touch the cards.
Okay.
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 No, let him touch the cards.
Because I can manipulate them in ways.
He can manipulate him.
Okay.
Okay, throw out the wall. Then he won.
Perfect. I want you to. I'm going to use my phone just as a simple writing utensil here.
Oh, sure.
But I want you to pull out any 3 cards and lay them out in front of you, face up.
Any 3 cards.
Any 3 cards, because I don't want you to think this is planned. They're gonna be face up. You don't have to hide it.
Okay, they're gonna be face up.
It's fine. I've seen this trick before.
Okay.
Well, of course you have. I'm sure you have.
We've done this many times.
And man, I'll let you pick the third one.
So
It's not all me.
what I am doing here, I am making my prediction. Okay.
He got the whole card deck memorized. He knows what's right.
Yeah, right? All right, so I'm going to make my prediction and just set it there.
Okay.
Okay, so the reason I did this is because there's different colors of cards you can use. There's different values of cards that'll influence you. And I don't want you to think I'm pulling out specific cards to influence you.
Okay.
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 So just for listeners, what cards here did you pull out?
We've got a 7 of clubs.
Okay.
Clubs.
Yep.
6 of spades.
Correct.
And a queen of diamonds.
Very good. Now, I'm going to give you the option. These are the cards you chose.
Yes.
If you could choose any
me
two,
and Min chose them.
Yeah.
fair together. It was,
Sorry.
teamwork. If you could choose any two of those, what two would you choose? I'll let each of you choose one. Each of you name one of those cards.
I'd probably do the 6 of spades.
I would do the 7 of clubs.
Perfect. Go ahead and take your cards. That was free choice. No way I could have known you were going to pick those cards or take those cards out of the deck altogether.
Maybe.
Heck, for a second I thought about the Queen of Diamonds, but then I changed my mind.
And you
It's free
changed
choice
your mind.
between 3 choices, though.
That's true.
Now, the crazy thing is, you could have changed your mind. You're going to, but something influenced you not to change it. And I said I made one prediction right here.
Okay.
Shoot.
The one card left
What?
on the table
No
that
way.
you did not take away was the Queen of Diamonds.
He memorized the cards.
What the?
We gotta think of it.
that's- How did he do it? How did he know? It's because it was the one. It's because it was the most unique of these. Because they're.
But why didn't you change your mind?
Psychology, man! You tricked us.
He got us! No!
That was
Honestly,
great.
I have to think the opposite now. Every single time.
I did almost want that. Oh, you got me, dude.
Yeah.
That's good.
That's insane.
That's like that was such a simple trick too.
I came prepared to teach you. It's crazy simple.
Is this simple?
Okay.
It is very simple. Keep them because we're going to do it again.
Right, because we got to learn.
So everybody thinks, one, you can use an app and it does this. No, you can just write it down.
Sure.
Okay.
Okay.
Just for fun, let's use the pig,
Okay. Yeah.
your phone, and the deck of cards. Lay all 3 of those. Okay. Now, if I were to do another prediction here, okay, let's go with, okay, again, same exact scenario. Don't take them away this time. Leave them on the table. But if you could each choose one, which one would you choose?
I choose pig.
I'm taking Min's phone.
Okay,
In your
perfect.
face. You didn't expect that.
Yeah, leave it there for now. Perfect. So if you guys each chose one of those, that means you took away which one? Nope. If you each kept those 2.
Oh, right.
I need to take.
Yeah. So the cards get taken away.
Right.
So go ahead and take away those cards. Cool. Now I'm going to do a little bit of a battle of wits here. Should we get the monkey involved?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
All right. So on the table we have a phone and a pig. Which one do you want?
I would like the piggy.
Fantastic.
The banana.
So in the end,
The pig. Okay, so then.
So in the end, Hermit
Yes.
chose the pig.
Right.
Okay. You guys eliminated the options.
Right.
Left the pig.
Right.
Okay. And there's your pig.
What?
Wait, what? You didn't touch your phone.
Wait. Yeah.
I typed it in while you guys were picking all those items. So here's the thing. I know this.
Gosh.
So here's the really cool thing that I like about Magic. Everybody says, "Oh, this has got to be tough. It's got to be hard." It's not.
Okay.
Rule number 1: if I let you pick any card you want, you probably don't get to pick.
Yeah.
So
Like he let us pick
okay. I typed up pig as soon as all those were on the table. So now my choice is to make you choose the pig. So let's put all 3 of those back on the table. Let's do the cards, the phone, and the pig. From this point on, you don't know what's going to happen. Okay? That's to my advantage. If I say, choose one, which one do you want?
this.
That's not.
He's trying to trick you. There's one in every audience.
I would take the cards.
Okay.
Okay, so perfect. So we'll just leave it at that.
Yeah,
Okay, you would take the cards.
Sure.
Fantastic, cool. Take the cards. It's fine. Which one would you choose?
My phone.
Your phone.
Oh,
Perfect.
the pig.
The pig.
I picked
The pig. Okay, perfect. So then I'd say you chose the pig.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Get rid of the phone.
Okay.
So that's the verbiage.
Oh, okay.
So you don't know, because right now I'm going to say, great, he eliminated one, and you chose the pig. That means we also got rid of the phone. That left you with just the pig.
Okay.
So now the pig is what you chose. So it's all in verbiage.
Oh,
now follow,
that makes sense.
Okay, so follow along. Let's do this one more time, and I'll break it down even further. So all 3 items are on the table. We're just going to do this one. We'll do it one-on-one here, okay? All right. Which one would you like to choose?
My phone.
Okay. We're just gonna do one-on-one. All right. So
You're messing up his trick.
all right. So we'll start over. Go ahead and set it back.
Okay.
Okay. So we have the phone, the pig, and the deck of cards.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make you choose the deck of cards. That's gonna be the outcome.
Okay.
Okay. Now I say, if you could choose 2 of these items, which 2 would you choose?
So, the pig and the cards.
Cool. Those are the 2 you want?
Yeah.
Great. Let's get rid of the phone.
Yeah. Oh, that makes.
Great. Now we have 2 items left.
Yeah.
Which one do you want? Now I'm emphasizing you. Which one do you want? Do you want
I
the pig?
The cards.
Perfect. That's the one you chose?
Yeah.
That's the one.
Get rid of the pig.
Get rid of the pig. Now, if you would have switched that and you said, I say, which one do you want? Do you want the pig or the cards? You go for the pig.
Go for the pig.
Cool. Perfect. That's the one you want. That leaves me with,
The cards.
and then I show the cards.
But how would you know to type out before we chose?
Because I'm choosing in the end. Like, for example.
He made the choice already. That's what he's trying to tell us.
Yeah.
It's all psychology.
You don't know if you're going to keep it or get rid of it.
Okay.
That's the point.
That makes total sense.
All I've learned is that free will does not exist.
100%. Yeah.
It's almost like there's someone controlling me.
I know. It's weird. I get that feeling, but I won't bring it up. We won't talk about it.
That's crazy. That was insane. That was.
So now remember
cool.
your first reaction when I performed it. You guys were like, "What? How did you know?" And we did it again, and you were still like, psh.
And even and now you taught us how to do it, and that it's that same reaction that we just had after you had done the trick. Where we're like, oh my god!
Because now you're not like amazed that it works. You're just amazed how it works.
I'm gonna do this at work when I get back.
I promise you're gonna mess up. I know. Everybody does. Like, yeah, take the cards. Wait, no, put the cards back.
No, easy. I give them 3 choices. Each of them is banana, banana,
Banana.
Can't mess that up.
Can't mess that up.
That's right. Oh my gosh. Well,
Oh my god.
that was crazy. I think we'll have to cut the episode there. We're kind of running out of time.
No, that was great.
Thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah.
Where can they find you?
You can find me everywhere at Magic of Travis Nye.
Heck yeah. You got a YouTube, you got Facebook,
It's all out there. Just throw it in the Google machine.
Every
You're
single
gonna find
one.
me, man.
That's right. I
Yeah.
like to hear it. And
Yeah.
also, I mean, obviously, if you don't know him, catch him on the full episodes of Late Night Boomin' when he shows
There's a few
up.
of
There-
them, yeah.
there is a few of them, and he will be in season 3. I'm sure of it.
Yes.
We are sure of it. And don't forget to also stream full episodes of this podcast on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. And is it Smo Leapy on Instagram and Little Deem
SMOLEEPY
on Instagram?
Small EP one.
And then what's your TikTok?
Little Sleepy Demons. It was a cosplay account, but Puppets kind of took over. So
Puppets kind of took over, getting close to 1 million followers.
Yes.
Congratulations on that.
Fantastic.
This has been a wild 20th week and 20th episode for us. We look forward to seeing you guys next week, and we look forward to having you again soon.
Let's do it.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Peace.
bye bye.